Good evening and welcome to the third band concert of the season for the amazing Worthington City Band. My name is John Nerdell. I'm on the band board, but Aaron Poole is our president, but he's stuck in the back row there, and he said it's too much work to get down. So it's my privilege to welcome you to the concert tonight. Aaron also told, well, there's a long story behind this joke, but what kind of an animal can jump higher than a building? All of them. Buildings can't jump. I credit that to a 7-year-old girl that's playing out in the playground there, but it's something. She's 8. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7. That sounds like an 8-year-old joke. So, it's also, I'm going to pull a little surprise for us here. We have a band player tonight that comes all the way from Germany. She's Lily Gabert has been our exchange student for this past school year. She's going home in 3.5 weeks, but one of the experiences she's been looking forward to all year long is playing with the amazing Worthington City Band. So, Lily Gabert, you can stand and wave. I won't put you, that's close enough. So. Lily, we've had an annual exchange for, almost 70 years with Chrysler. So Lily is probably the 67th or 68th student to spend a year in Worthington. So it's been our privilege to welcome her as a member of the Worthington community and now a member of the amazing Worthington City Band. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? Okay, I'd like to introduce our MC for tonight is Carrie Olmanson, and our intermission feature is Hayden Swenson, our saxophone player. He's going to blow your socks off. You'll really enjoy that. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Carrie Olmanson.
Hello, I am Carrie Olmanson, the CEO of the Worthington Area YMCA. I've been plugged into the Y and the Worthington community for almost 2 years. I bring with me 25 years of YMCA experience from the Mankato YMCA, along with my family who is here today. I have my husband, Bennett. He works at Plunkett's Pest Control, which my daughter calls him the bug cop. I have my eldest son, Jacob, who graduated in May from Minnesota West with a welding degree. Colton will be a junior this year, and my daughter, Tegan, will be an 8th grader, both of which will be attending the Worthington School District again. I want to thank Rich for asking me to MC tonight because deep down I am a brass band girl. I play trumpet and I actually hoped to join you on one of the songs, but with all that we have going on at the Y, I've been a little busy. It's all good things I tell you, and I will share with you throughout the night all about it. So let's kick off tonight's concert with a good old march. We begin with this piece by the one and only Carl King, a true legend in the world of band music. If you've ever heard a march that made you want to stand up a little straighter or maybe even break into a proud strut, that's a good chance King had something to do with it. This one's called Peace Jubilee, and it was written to celebrate something we can all get behind: the end of the World War II and the joyful return of soldiers to their families. It's a musical welcoming home with soaring brass and rich harmonies that still stir the heart nearly 70 years later. Thanks to James Swearingen updated arrangement, we get to enjoy this classic with the full force of modern concert band. So go ahead, relax, smile, and even let that foot start tapping. Here's Peace Jubilee by Carl King. Turn it off. You know, just like music brings people together and families together, so does the Y. The Y is all about building strong kids, strong families, a strong community. Our mission is to put Christian principles into practice through programs and services that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. We accomplish this by using 3 pillars: youth development, social responsibility, and healthy living. Now, I know we're all sitting and enjoying the music right now, but tomorrow morning you can come to the Y and find plenty of folks getting their heart rate up at the Y, from yoga to pickleball to water aerobics. There's something for everyone, no matter your tempo. All right, time to slow things down a bit and bring in some classic romance. Our next song is Close to You, written by the dream team of Burt Bacharach and Hal David, 2 guys who knew how to tug on heartstrings with just a few notes. Now, fun fact, this tune actually started out in 1963 with actor-singer Richard Chamberlain. He gave it a shot, but it didn't quite make waves. But fast forward to 1970 and enter in the Carpenters. Karen and Richard worked their magic, and suddenly Close to You was everywhere. Karen's smooth, warm voice and Richard's lush arrangement turned it into a mega hit. 4 weeks at #1 on the Billboard charts and forever favorite for slow dances and lovebirds. So take a deep breath, maybe think of someone special, and let yourself be swept away by the timeless beauty of Close to You. the years of experience I have with the Y, it's hard to choose my favorite aspect of the Y. Between our members and our programs, it's a tight 50-50 race. However, if someone would ask me, who's close to you? Hands down, it would be my active agers. They're my silver sneakers. And I wanted to have them come up and do their own band here. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but they sit there with Bosu balls, sit or stand, and they actually have drumsticks, or if you have arthritis or hard to grip things, they use noodles, and they sit there and dance around to the different songs. So if you ever want to be part of a band and you maybe don't have the musical talents that they do, come and drum on the ball with us, okay? So that's Tuesdays and Fridays at the Y. So, the reason I love the active older adults is they're quite magical. They put a smile on my face daily and have opened their hearts and welcomed me right in as a family. Now, speaking of families, this next one's a classic that just might have you singing along, whether you planned it or not. It's Do, Re, Mi from the beloved Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, The Sound of Music. Now, if you've ever twirled around on a hilltop or just watched somebody else do it on screen, you know the magic of the show. The Sound of Music took Broadway by storm, winning 5 Tony Awards and then waltzed into movie theaters in 1965, where it picked up 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Not bad for a musical that starts with a nun who can't follow the rules. This song comes at the moment when Maria, played famously by Julia Andrews, teaches the Van Trapp children how to sing using the song Do, Re, Mi. It's catchy, clever, and kind of impossible not to hum or sing along. Here comes Do, Re, Mi. That song reminds me of the reason I chose to work at the Y. Like Maria, our camp counselors are educating the youth through recreational experiences to make lasting memories and grow in confidence. Whether it's learning to swim, join a team, or just learn to share, our youth programs are all about building life skills in the most fun and positive way. If you hear loud giggling, a smell of bug spray or sunscreen around town, that's probably one of our day camps or sports groups. This summer, we have 675 children from Worthington and the surrounding area registered for our day camp. They attend Monday through Friday, 8 until 5, and be able to get to go swimming, play games, crafts. So this summer, grandparents, if you get the pleasure of taking the grandkids for a week, do it. And register them for camp. They don't have to be members to participate in the program, and It's going to be a great way for them to burn off some energy while making new friends. The Y's got you covered. Okay, it's time for one of those songs that pretty much guarantees a sing-along. We're talking about Sweet Caroline, the 1969 hit by the one and only Neil Diamond with its unforgettable melody and feel-good vibes. This song has become a true American classic, a stadium anthem, and let's be honest, a karaoke favorite. Now the story behind the song, well, that's a bit of a mystery. In 2007, Neil said he wrote it about Caroline Kennedy, yes, JFK's daughter, who was just 11 when the song came out. But then in 2014, he changed his tune and said it was really about his wife at the time. And his wife's name was Marcia. He just needed a name that fit the rhythm of 3 syllables. And well, Sweet Marcia doesn't quite have the same ring as Sweet Caroline, does it? But whoever it was for, it belongs to all of us now. So if the spirit moves you, don't hold back, sing it loud and proud. Here comes Sweet Caroline. Tonight's entertainment for the intermission is provided by Hayden Swenson. So please help me welcome Hayden to the stage.
Well, hello everyone. My name's Hayden Swenson. This is my second year with the amazing Worthington City Band. My soon-to-be wife, Kaylee, who is the middle school band director here in town. We moved here from Minota, Minnesota in 2023, where we met in 2019 and attended Winona State University together. I graduated in 2021 with a Bachelor of Arts in Music and a minor in Jazz Studies. And playing jazz has always been a passion of mine, and I'd like to share that with everyone tonight. And because this is jazz, if you hear something you like in the middle of any of these tunes, hoot, holler, clap, whatever you want. So this first tune I'll be playing is a well-known jazz standard called There'll Never Be Another You. It's written by Harry Warren in 1942 for the musical Iceland. And this tune has been recorded and played by countless artists and many of the jazz greats. So tonight I'm throwing my hat into the ring. Here is There Will Never Be Another You. Thank you, everyone. Speeding up with this next tune. This is a piece by pianist Keith Jarrett. He's a big figure in jazz and jazz fusion in the 1970s and the 80s. His concert album in 1975 is still one of the best-selling solo piano records of all time. This is Lucky Southern. For these last two songs of the intermission, I'll be using an instrument that many people may have already noticed and wondered what it was. Much like synthesizers are to the piano, this is a synthesizer for a woodwind instrument, or a wind synthesizer. It's officially called the Roland Aerophone, but after hearing it played many times at late-night jazz sessions in the bars of Winona, my eccentric jazz piano teacher, Larry Price, dubbed the instrument the breathalyzer, which I've adopted as its official name ever since. And this next tune is an adventure into jazz fusion by legendary jazz guitarist Pat Metheny. He's won over 20 Grammys since he began recording in 1974. This is the title track of his debut album, Bright Size Life. Thank you. Before I play my last tune, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and supporting local live music in your community. It really is a special thing to have that and to be a part of. And for this last tune, I debated for quite a while for what to have as the last tune of the set, but in the end, as a jazz alto player, I had to pay homage to the most prolific jazz alto player of all time, Charlie Parker. He was one of the driving forces behind the creation and popularity of the style of bebop with players like Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, and Max Roach in the 40s and 50s, and still influences jazz players to this day. This tune was recorded by the Charlie Parker Quintet in 1947. This is Donna Lee.
Well, Hayden, that was impressive. Everyone give Hayden a round of applause. To have that talent is amazing. Okay, so now is the time for the Candy March.
It is true. Before you actually give the information about the Candy March, I'm going to have this guy behind you stand up here and tell us who he is. Okay, Mr. Mike. They are wondering, where is Mr. Peterson? And so, Mike Thompson, tell us a little bit about yourself here.
So I'm the other band Mike in this town. Well, there's three of us if you're counting. But I'm the high school band director here in town. This is going into my 5th year here in Worthington, and Mike asked me to direct this week because I think he's fishing, probably.
Don't know.
Don't know. That's what he's usually doing. Good for him. So, but yeah, so I'm here directing this week. Yeah.
So,
Okay, for the Candy March, it's time for the Candy Parade. So my understanding is kids of all ages, we invite you to march along with the band during our next song. Come and meet by the edge of the stage and get ready to march. Thanks to Brown Shoe Fit and Mix Auto for providing Candy's sponsorships this season. This week, kids will be marching to Windy. So come on up. Come on up, kids of all ages. Okay. So as the kids gather by the edge of the stage and get ready to march, we'll keep the good vibes rolling with a little sunshine from the summer of '67. Up next is this upbeat pop hit, Windy. This catchy tune was written by Ruth Ann Friedman in just under 20 minutes. while she was living at David Crosby's house. Talk about a creative inspiration before ChatGPT was even invented. She later said Wendy was a reflection of her 20-year-old self, or maybe it was more like a version of herself she wanted to be. You know, carefree, adventurous, and just a little bit mysterious. The association took the song, added their signature harmonies, and boom! Wendy hit #1 on the Billboard charts in 1967 and ended up as the 4th biggest hit of the entire year. So, sit back, let yourself drift along with its easy rhythm of Wendy. That was fun. I must admit, tonight I'm feeling a little selfish, because it's almost as if this whole concert was built around my personality and my passion for the Y and the love of the community. If you ever meet me around the Y, this is not as calm and conservative as I usually am. I'm like all around just, whew, something. Oh, it's crazy. Okay, so, what I'm thinking about these songs is that I'm basically a human version of these songs, upbeat, adventurous, and kind of a bit of a windy whirlwind. However, in the middle of all that energy the Y puts out with the camps, the workouts, the sports programs, there's also this quieter side that's just as important. It's where values like kindness, respect, and faith are planted early and grow strong. The Y isn't just a gym to build strong bodies. It's about nurturing strong spirits as well. So this next piece captures that peaceful, reflective spirit that might bring back some childhood memories, or at least a sense of peace. This is a childhood hymn, which is beautifully heartfelt arrangement of this timeless tune, Jesus Loves Me. Composer Dr. David Holsinger is well known in the band world for his energetic marches and powerful symphonic works. But here, he shows us his softer side. using rich harmonies, flowing phrases, and just the right touch of dynamics. Holster brings new life to the melody many of us have known since we were small. It's simple, it's honest, and it's a reminder that sometimes the most endearing messages are always the gentlest. So take a moment, deep breath, and let the calm wash over you as you perform a childhood hymn by Dr. Holsinger. Amazing. Oh, just bring chills. Okay, so the last piece gave me a chance to remember and pause a moment why I do what I'm intended to do. You know, really, my job is to create spaces where people feel safe, seen, and supported. And oftentimes, that comes in many different shapes and sizes. I'll tell you a little story about, we had a father who came in with his mother for a supervised visit with his two younger children. They were maybe 5 and 2. And they would come every other Saturday. And during that time, they would go to the multi-purpose room where we have like a whole wall of mirrors, and that's where we do our classes, our exercise group classes, and there's not much in there, you know? And so when I heard about this dad who was just hanging out at the gym at the Y, I went in there, and our Zumba instructor actually was trying to, work out his music and his dancing and such. And so I was like, you guys, you got to come out of there. He needs to practice. And the mom, of course, got all huffy puffy and said, oh, no, we can be here. I said, absolutely, you can be here. But I have a better place for you to be. And so I took him out and showed him the Child Watch room. And our Child Watch room is a room that you can bring your littles, usually around 8 and under, to hang out and play while you go do whatever healthy living is what you do. I'm not saying you need to get on a treadmill or into the pool or anything like that. Maybe it's just sitting in the lobby having a coffee with some of the other seniors. My favorite thing to do. So brought them into this Child Watch room, and instantly Dad started to just tear up and cry. He realized that he could be able to provide a space for him and his kids. And it was just magical. Later on, I checked on the cameras, and I saw him and his daughter were playing the dueling pianos at the table. And, he felt amazing at that time. And so just to be able to create that space for him is something that I absolutely love. So, yes, as the Y is not just a gym, it is a place for everyone. So, okay. Up next is, do you remember Rock and Roll Radio? A high-energy tribute to the golden age of the airwaves, brought to you by none other than the iconic Ramones. Released in 1980, this song is a love letter to the days when radio wasn't just background noise, it was everything. Now, this isn't your typical Ramones 3-chord blast. They switched things up with a richer 1950s style sound. Think saxophones, tambourines, and a bit more swing, but still with that unmistakable Ramones edge. And if you feel like you've heard it somewhere else, you probably have. This tune even made a cameo in the Shrek the Third movie. Best of all, tonight's arrangement comes from one of our very own Worthington City Band, Matt Sexton. Thank you. Give it up to our hometown talent. So here's, do you remember Rock and Roll Radio? Anyone else is feeling inspired to get moving after this toe tapping tonight? You know, the Y is a great place to get started with that. If it's been a while since you've stepped into the Y, consider this your personal invitation. Stop by, take a tour, or just come in, like I said, on Tuesdays or Thursdays. It's a great time to have a cup of coffee and a great conversation. I want you to come as you are, though. No pressure. Not trying to fit the mold of anyone else except for yourself. So now, what concert would be complete without a little John Philip Sousa? This next piece is the Liberty Bell, one of Sousa's most famous patriotic marches. But fun fact, it wasn't actually supposed to be patriotic at all. Sousa originally wrote this tune for an operetta called The Devil's Deputy. But when funding fell through, as showbiz sometimes goes, the music was left without a home. Not long after, Sousa was at the World Fair in Chicago when he saw a giant stage backdrop of the Liberty Bell during a performance called America. His band manager leaned over and said, "Hey, that would make a great title for your new march." And just like that, the Liberty Bell was born. The piece was an instant hit, and it's been played everywhere from the Liberty Bell Center in Philadelphia to presidential inaugurations for Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Trump. It's bold, it's brassy, it's the Liberty Bell March. liberty and freedom, I want to thank those who support the YMCA. Whether you're a member, a donor, a volunteer, You're helping us serve the community in big ways every day. You're the reason a teen finds their first job. Okay, now raise of hands, how many of you were a lifeguard for our Y? I hear that all the time, especially from the downtown Y. Okay, so you're the reason the family gets the support they need, and every program is designed to support even our youngest community members, and your involvement helps make that possible. With the help of generous donors, we are able to ensure that everyone has a chance to succeed in their healthy lifestyle, regardless of their age, race, and economic status. Now, just like that, our musical journey is quickly coming to a close. So, with our final numbers remaining, I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the music. A big round of applause to our amazing Worthington City Band for bringing talent, heart, and some serious volume to the stage tonight. And of course, a shout out to our director for keeping us on toe-tapping tempo. So I look forward to seeing you all around town and at the Y. And until then, keep a song in your heart and energy shining bright.
All right, can we get one more round of applause for our wonderful MC for the night? Thank you, thank you. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, this is our third concert, right? Yeah, this is our third concert of the year. We've got a bunch more coming up here. I want to thank you guys for giving me, for letting me direct for the night. We've got our traditional 2 numbers to close out the night here with America the Beautiful, immediately followed by the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you again for joining us on this busy night, or this beautiful night, I should say. Thank you.